I'm Bable Jonathan. You welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on EQUINOXE television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In a lone top story in this edition of the 6 p.m. news, Afro Barometer says Cameroon is at the verge of disintegrating. It has presented findings indicating that the deepening Anglophone crisis has severely affected the unity of the country and also Cameroonians' perception of democracy and the police as well as the military. We begin this newscast in the OPEC city of Limbe in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where water crisis is further complicating the situation of inhabitants, notably already badly affected by the deepening Anglophone crisis. Women in Mile 4 neighborhood, Limbe, Fako division, southwest region of the country, took to the streets to protest against inadequate supply of potable water in the municipality. Davidson Maimo reports.
For over 5 years, water crisis in Bonadikombo Mile 4 in Limbe has been the bone of contention between village and the state. At one point in time, the then senior divisional officer for FACO, Zhang III, signed a prefectural order putting in place a management committee against the wish of the villages concerned. The case was won by the village committee at the court, giving powers back to the village to manage its water. Since then, the Bonadikombo water has suffered sabotage alleged from some persons or group of persons. However, the recent destroying of pipes at the catchment by a still to be identified person demanding a ransom has left many with unanswered question on why water, which is life, could be tampered with. Few weeks back, after repairs at the catchment, 2 persons were shot, though recovered from the gunshot, still from unidentified person, raised a lot of question why water should be used as a bargaining chip for ransom to be paid. 3 times, women in Bonadikombo Mile 4 came out in their numbers, staging a protest march to the chief palace and around the entire Bonadikombo village, pleading with whosoever is tampering with the water should pity their condition.
We have problem. No water. We don't know water. Any problem for my foyer. Water na life for we all. Men man not play with water for we. They should take anything from my phone. Me they not take away water.
Bonadikombo Mile 4, with over 30,000 inhabitants, is said to have an increase in its population due to its ever-flowing, clean natural water from the foot of Mount Cameroon around Ewongo village in Wututu area, coupled with the very fact that the water is almost free since it is a community water. But with things going off hand, security sources say an in-depth investigation that might see some heads rolling has been ordered by the powers that be to fish out those who are or might be behind the constant sabotage of the community water. Other sources say mismanagement of water funds pushed the chief to step in order to put sanity within the management committee at the detriment of some committee members who were reaping where they never sowed. These investigators equally hinted this reporter might be another motive behind the sabotage of the water. Everything being equal, the powers that be should step in fast and put order before things goes sour.
According to Afro Barometer, Cameroon is at the verge of division provoked by the deepening Anglophone crisis. Findings of Afro Barometer indicate that the Anglophone crisis has severely affected the unity of the country and has also caused Cameroonians to be divided in their opinions or views concerning the police force and, of course, the military and the country's democracy. For me, Armstrong Sander has the details.
Afrobarometer in its recent publication revealed that Cameroon, after more than half a century of existence as a country with a dual colonial cultural heritage and English and French as official languages, is at the risk of division provoked by the Anglophone crisis which exploded in October 2016. The socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, they say, has greatly affected national unity. and many Cameroonians, especially in the northwest and southwest, no longer believe in the unity of the country. The Anglophone-Francophone conflict, according to them, has provoked question marks on the future of the country. They say the crisis has revealed contradictory views between Anglophones and Francophone Cameroonians with regard to their political freedoms, the police and the army. Afrobarometer in its findings say many more Anglophone Cameroonians are expressing negative views to the extent of questioning their nationality. Afrobarometer indicated that before 2016, only a small minority of 6 to 12% of Cameroonians were identifying themselves with their ethnic origin than their nationality. But from 2016, a greater percentage of 31% of Anglophone Cameroonians identify more with their ethnic origin than their Cameroonian nationality. The phenomenon, according to Afrobarometer, has also affected Francophone Cameroonians, with about 13% of them identifying more with their ethnic origin than the Cameroonian nationality. The studies of Afrobarometer also reveal that many Cameroonians on both sides, especially Anglophones, have lost confidence in the police and the army. 58% of Anglophone Cameroonians interviewed have no confidence in the police, while 44% of Francophones interviewed expressed the same opinion. Contrarily, 33% of Francophones have full confidence in the police, while just a meager 3% of Anglophones have full confidence in the police. As concerns the military, the findings of Afrobarometer show that 62% of Anglophones have no confidence in the military, while 13% of Francophones have no confidence in the military, as opposed to 59% of them expressing full confidence in the military, while 3% of Anglophones share the same view. With regard to democracy, 4% of Anglophones interviewed hold the opinion that there is no democracy in Cameroon, while 52% are not satisfied at all with the country's democracy. On the other hand, 2% of Francophones think that there is no democracy in Cameroon, while 27% are not satisfied with the level of democracy in the country. 81% of Anglophone Cameroonians say their freedom of expression is limited, while just 22% of Francophones hold the same view.
And Cameroon's tourism sector has equally been badly affected by the Anglophone crisis, notably the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, but also the security issues up north with the phenomenon of attacks from suspected militants of the Nigerian terrorist sect Boko Haram, as well as the issue of kidnapping that is on the rise in the Adamawa region of the country, as well as sporadic incursions by Seleka rebels from the Central African Republic into the east region of the country. But government says it is doing everything possible to turn the tides. The Anglophone crisis in the southwest and northwest regions of Cameroon, attacks by Central African rebels in the east, and militants of the terrorist sect Boko Haram in the far north region have adversely affected the tourism sector of the country. However, Tourism and Leisure Minister Bello Buba Maigari presents a bright picture of Cameroon's tourism landscape and potentials. The security risk faced by Cameroon are not affecting her alone, and so should not be a factor to reduce the number of visitors. I invite all tourist partners of Cameroon to brave the security challenges threatening to hinder tourism activities and render the Cameroon tourist destination less visited. The tourism minister urges tourists from across the globe to continue visiting the country, described as Africa in miniature, an attribute stemming from her huge and diverse tourist potential. He said government is striving hard to mitigate the impact of the security challenges in view of enhancing Cameroon's tourism climate.
Nos efforts porteront essentiellement sur la simplification et l'allègement des procédures de construction.
We will ease the construction and exploitation of tourist and leisure institutions, the completion of construction works of the Bolowa Agro-Pastoral Show Hotel, rehabilitation of the Bamenzi Tourist Center, and the Centre Climatique of Chang, and the organization of the first week of the Cameroonian cuisine.
L'organisation de la première édition de la Semaine de la cuisine camerounaise.
The construction of modern World Cup capacity stadia in Yaoundé and Douala is also highlighted as an added advantage to the country's tourism sector. And the situation of hundreds of thousands of persons displaced by the Anglophone crisis has continued worsening. Many of them are now sending distress calls to the Yaoundé administration, and of course they are now depending on men and women of goodwill. Some of them, those you're seeing there in the images, are receiving medical aid from some Cameroonians from the diaspora, notably coming in under the auspices or the cover of the Limonia Foundation. They are receiving medical aid in the Bonaberi Douala for a subdivision. Now take a listen to one of the IDPs from the northwest region of the country.
My name is Chrislina Akumchi. I'm an IDP from Bamenda. I'm a nurse. So I face a lot of challenges in Bamenda because I could not go out to work because of the tense environment, or because of one other reason or the other, that either you attend to the military, you're in problems, you attend to the civilians, you're in problems. So it was a tense environment. I had to move to Douala. So I've been with Limona Foundation International. We went out to sensitize the population, and we met a lot of IDPs. Many homes were hosting them, and some even died at this point of need. So I met many of them. A young girl of about 35 years is hosting about 6 IDPs from different homes, from different areas. So it was a kind of challenge on her part that I had to bring them to Limonia Foundation International so they could get aid from them. So it's really challenging because we found many of them, some are homeless and some just come and sleep in the market to try to do one or two things to help themselves. I would like the government to come in to support them through Limonia Foundation International. They can easily have access to these people so that we can help them, financially and in other aspects and medically.
And circulation has remained paralyzed on National Highway number 3, linking the country's two main cities, the political capital Yaoundé and the economic capital Douala. Circulation was paralyzed on that highway for several hours from 10 p.m. yesterday through the greater portion of today, and this is because of an accident involving a heavy-duty truck transporting brewery products. Immaculate Fogwe has more.
Circulation along the National Road number 3, linking the cities of Douala and Yaoundé, was perturbed since yesterday to the early hours of today. Passengers of the vehicle who were at the scene explained that the accident was due to a tire puncture suffered by a lorry belonging to a brewery company. According to a communique, the Minister of Transport, Ngale Bibe Jean-Ernest Masséna, says the accident was as a result of a collision between the lorry and the bus. The minister equally indicates in the communique that a person was seriously injured and a lot of material damages were recorded. He equally adds that investigations are currently going on to track down the real cause of the accident, while calling on road users to remain vigilant when driving. The inaccessibility of this stretch of road caused people traveling from Douala to Yaoundé and those moving from Yaoundé to Douala to be dropped at a locality known as Mam in the Ngok Mapumbi subdivision in the central region of Cameroon.
We talk about the last meeting of the Economic Community of Central African States, notably indicating that the 14th gathering of the head of states within the Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC, ended with the heads of states adopting several resolutions, and the head of state talked on the security, economic, and other challenges affecting countries of the sub-region. From Smanjikan Gabriel has more.
As part of the resolutions taken during the 14th conference of the head of state of the Central African Monetary and Economic Community, CEMAC, the aspect of member nations having visas for their movement within the zone of CEMAC was once again reiterated, with the president of CEMAC asked to reinforce the additional clause. Another vital aspect was that of making the CEMAC Airlines a reality. On this, the head of state adopted two new additional rules. One of them, which is the creation of the company, and the other, the area where the headquarters of the CEMAC Airlines will be located. About economic questions, particularly on the program on economic and financial reforms of CEMAC, the head of state, who believed they are gradually going out of recession, have encouraged economic operators to not lose hope. Security was also an aspect that was discussed on the gathering, with the call for peace in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, alongside advising each nation to be another's keeper.
That was Smanjikan Gabriel reporting there. Now we talk about stakeholders in the forest exploitation sector who are meeting here in the economic capital Douala to find strategies on how to reduce deforestation in the countries of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC zone. Details with EQUINOXE.
Though deforestation rate in Cameroon is lesser as compared to governments of tropical forest countries, realizing growth through sustainable rural development with civil society and indigenous people as accelerators is yet to be achieved.
When you look at Cameroon and you compare to other countries, it will appear Cameroon may not be very deforested. The deforestation rate in Cameroon may be lower than 1%. But when you compare to countries, say, like Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, where deforestation is as high as nearly 3%, you might say Cameroon is not well deforested. But you have to project in future and see the level of development that Cameroon is engaged in and see how fast Cameroon could really get into deforestation rates that are spiraling.
Engaging in zero deforestation initiatives, forestry experts underline will enable governments of Cameroon and other countries reap their progress.
I think it's urgent to act here to make sure that these new investments that are coming in will be implemented in conformity with sustainable development measures that the country must have put in place.
Initiatives put in place by the government of Cameroon to realize 0% deforestation rates are continuously being violated by exploitation companies.
Je le dis, pas de tolérance administrative parce que
government agents talk of challenges confronted in eradicating illegal deforestation, which includes distance and financial constraints hindering the smooth operation of the administration in the field to control activities of exploitation companies.
Sur le terrain à tout moment et un peu partout.
All these were disclosed in a roundtable forum in Douala that aims at providing a platform for stakeholder interaction, amongst them those of the Tropical Forest Alliance 2020, a dedicated platform for public-private cooperation working to help organizations achieve their deforestation-free commitments.
The purpose of this workshop was to, first of all, get a better understanding of who is doing what in the landscape, who are the Tropical Forest Alliance actors that are present in Cameroon, okay, and what are they involved in the landscape, who stakeholder are they working with, and what kind of difficulty are they facing in deploying their deforestation-free strategies, and what are the opportunities for them to move at the scale.
The mission of the Tropical Forest Alliance 2020 is also to help producers, traders and buyers of forest risk commodities achieve their commitments to deforestation-free supply chain. The TFA 2020 partner companies and governments had made commitments to have deforestation associated to their supply chain by 2020, thus encouraged to evaluate activities and ameliorate when need be.
In Algeria, the army urges the removal of President Abdelaziz Bouteflika. Algeria's army chief of staff has demanded President Abdelaziz Bouteflika be declared unfit to rule after weeks of protests against him. Speaking on state television, General Ahmed Gaid Salah said, quote, "We must find a way out of this crisis immediately within the constitutional framework, and the president has already agreed not to stand for a fifth term in upcoming elections, which have been delayed." Demonstrators accused the 82-year-old of a ploy to prolong his 20-year rule. Talks have been set up to oversee the country's political transition, draft a new constitution, and set the date for elections, but they do not yet have a date to start. And protests against Mr. Bouteflika began last month after the president, who has rarely been seen in public since suffering a stroke in 2013, said he planned to stand for another term. But people have continued to march even after he agreed not to stand, instead demanding immediate change. And General Gaid Salah, who is also Deputy Defense Minister and seen as loyal to Mr. Bouteflika, has previously said the military and the people had a united vision of the future, hinting at the armed forces support for the demonstrators. And that's it for this edition of the news on Equinox Television. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Goodbye.